So hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Mike. Today I'm going to talk about my experience of working at BCG Gamma as a data scientist. So here's a list of stuff I'm going to go through. First of all, I'm going to talk about how did I get this opportunity during my grad school. And then I'm going to also talk about what is the difference between BCG versus BCG Gamma. And then I'm going to dive into what I did as a data scientist when working for BCG Gamma. And I'm also going to cover what are some of the team structure and then team environments are like when you work in the team. And then finally, I'm going to touch on some of the reasons why you should apply for BCG Gamma or working in this overall industry just as a data scientist and why I decided to leave BCG. So first of all, how did I get this opportunity as a BCG Gamma data scientist? While I was finishing up my master degree at UChicago MSCA program, I saw this like a LinkedIn post from UChicago MSCA recruiting or like career services. They're looking for a data scientist. They're actually looking for a couple of data scientists or data analytics or data engineering talents to join their team. And I applied. It turned out to be a pretty good fit because of my past experience, my flexibility to work full-time or part-time while I'm still a student in part-time basis. Also, my versatile background in terms like my industry, my past project experience that highlights my analytics and engineering skills. So after 2 to 3 rounds of interview, which includes phone screening, behavioral rounds, like data science technical stats sort of questions, and also me and my interviewer have to kind of walk through a actual business case project that I need to use like my business skills and my project management skills and also my industry and data science skill to solve this problem. I then got an offer from one of the specialty services team from BCG Gamma. If you wanted to check out, some of the more standardized process to get into BCG, please, Google or maybe buy some of the books that highlights case studies or interview case studies. That's usually how you practice to get into those like a big consulting firm. So what is BCG Gamma? What is the difference between BCG and BCG Gamma? So unlike BCG as like just traditional management consulting firm that delivers slides or deck-driven type of recommendations for their clients, BCG Gamma delivers more technical and more data-driven product services, insights, recommendations, or even some of the consulting cases. And the BCG and BCG Gamma usually work hand in hand to provide this data-driven recommendations for any of the management consulting services. So from my knowledge, BCG Gamma also contains consulting team too, and also specialty services team. So Gamma consultants are usually very client facing. They have to travel and they have to meet the client and they have to work with the client very closely. But at the same time, they're also very, very technical because they work on actual models and actual product services in the building out solutions at the same time. Versus specialty services team, which is the team I end up with, can vary from like different functionality, your role, your level, and also your industry knowledges. Such as we have different specialty services team across different industry like retail, manufacturing, healthcare, pharmaceutical, and etc. So they're a little bit less client-facing, but they're focused more on industry, the skill, and also the product that we're selling and providing. And the team I end up with one of the specialty services team under this big BCG Gamma organization. So next, I'm gonna dive into some of the day-to-day stuff or what I did as a data scientist for BCG and what was my onboarding experience, what was my project experience. So after I got onboarded, I was facing to adapt a very fast-paced environment. In the first 2 days, I got pulled into a actual client's project that required me to shadow my manager, supervisor, and also my coworker to go through different tools and different technologies, different data sets to kind of find out this like bugs or QA data engineering problem that is pretty high prioritized. So on the first 2 weeks, I was kind of half onboarding, reading my material, go through the documentations, and then having some meetings with my coworkers or managers. But half of it, like I invest into this actual client's QA project, which it was very intense, but it does give me this like push to learn very fast to for me to dive into the day-to-day stuff. So then right before my 1 month mark, I had already taken on a actual like a big client's data science modeling project. The project I took on was kind of tricky that it is a full stack project. It does have this data engineering, data prep, the exploration and the modeling part. You also have this like API integration point, and you also have this like, front end and the dashboarding and inside part. So for me, it's obviously focusing on more of the model part, first of all, and I need to revamp their model, redo a lot of the modeling work, and also do a lot of performance testing and tuning, and then comparison, and then also work on their API code, and then front-end product deployment aspect of the work. Why I did all of that is because like the formal developer or data scientist who actually developed this project moved on. Either they move on to another project or they quit BCG and then move on to another stage of their career from another company and so on. So a lot of stuff regarding to the project I worked on with some of them are documented, but most of them are not. So I need to dive into the code to really understand what has been done, what has not been done, what is working, what has not worked, and what are some of the previous data scientists who worked on this project that give me a sense of direction on what should I do next on top of it. So I started to slowly take on this project and focus my 100% capacity on it. So next, I'm gonna cover what are some of the team structure are like and how different teams or personnel work together within my team. So even though I was fortunate enough to only focus fully on my big data science project, my other full-time coworkers around me, like from the same teams, usually get assigned to take on 2 to 4 different clients analytic project. They will work in obviously team basis, like with the product manager, client success manager, or data engineer, and DevOps, data scientists, consultants, or with the actual client. They should perform like various tasks like maintaining an existing project, revamping, implementing solutions, and then the documents the existing process or documenting or looking for the new challenges to be solved, and also perform ad hoc analysis on the data sets for a specific model or specific exploration, and also fixing or firefighting on many different data-driven problems or bugs. And they also prepare for meetings and building decks and presentations for their internal or external teams. Depends on your functionality, depends on your role, and depends on your project, and also depends on what's required from your project. You may take on like a very different type of day-to-day project to do. So finally, I'm gonna also touch on some of the reasons why I think you should apply and you should work for BCG, and also the reason why I left BCG. I still advise entry-level to junior-level data science professional to apply for a company like BCG or McKinsey or top consulting firms, because they're just a really, really good name in your resume, and then give you a better, intense, higher step kickoff of your career. And also it does provide this fast-paced environment for you to take on so many different hands-on data analytic projects to help clients drive impact, solve problems, and then from different angles, different prospects throughout the business and throughout the industry. So you could also practice and then learn so many new tools or technologies, coding languages, to fulfill your resume more, and then to improve your adaptability in a fast changing environment and fast changing of technology, right? So at the same time, it helps you to kind of be a little bit more client facing, because you have to work with so many different internal and external work clients, in this team basis work environment. So you will have a lot of opportunity to work with so many different people, with so many different purposes that put you into that spot that you have to kind of deliver, right? The reason why I leave BCG, despite the fact that it put this a really good name on my resume, is because I already accepted that offer. The reason why I accepted the offer is because the other offer is for an in-house data scientist instead of working as a consulting or agency type of data science. So to dig deep, despite the fact that we are working for a specialty services team, we're still running into a lot of resource allocation issues, and then that can potentially ruin our consistent work-life balance. And people can easily get drawn into this day-to-day client-driven hustles that I see from my coworker around me. Like for example, sometimes the team could run into the relocation issues I talk about. Like one of the coworker who is like a senior data scientist just got hired, just got onboarded, already required to take on like 4 to 5 different data science projects that she had to kind of work at night after she go back home. And then she also had to kind of hop on different calls from like different time zone with the clients, because we're serving like not only American clients, but also maybe Asian, maybe like Mexico, maybe like Europe. So the time difference can be tricky in there. Overall, I think it might be like consulting or agency type of standard that people would assume or implicate that when an analyst or associate take on a client, they cannot really say no to the client's work. It's very hard to say no, even despite the fact that you already take on so much. It's a little bit contradicted to what I believe. So for me, as being able to say no, or politely, professionally, and pretty straightforwardly saying no is one of the biggest prospect or culture I feel like all professional who work in tech deserves, and then that we should have that throughout your career. Like how to say no sometimes can prevent us from burning out. It can keep up with our passion, with our saying, and the right mindset when it comes to doing and delivering very heavy lifting and very tricky engineering work, and also very highly creative problem solving type of jobs in a long run. So that's kind of like my experience overall with BCG Gamma working as a data scientist. I don't want to dive into too much really granular details with this videos because I was working for clients who obviously have this like a lot of problems with the product that we're providing or selling. That's why there's a lot of demand for me to dive into to work on optimize and do testing and sort of thing, which is a really fun project overall. But due to confidentiality, I don't want to talk too much about the client's work, but I just kind of want to share the overall experience and then have some detail on my thoughts, my own experience into this video. So hopefully it is helpful for you. So thank you for watching my video, and please subscribe my channel if you like my content that related to data science, schooling, and experience and career wise. I'll see you next time.